In this video we are going to take a quick look at the Runway Overflow Prevention System ROPS. This system is designed to alert the flight crew in the event of a possible runway overrun situation. ROPS is made up of two functions. The runway end overrun warning function ROW that works in the final stage of the approach up to the transition point, and the runway end overrun protection function ROP that works once on ground until the aircraft decelerates below the inhibition speed. The ROP functions calculate wet and dry landing distances in real time for current conditions and compare them to the landing distance available of the runway. Let us see how the system works. Below 400 feet, if the calculated dry landing distance is greater than the landing distance available, there is a runway too short amber message on both PFD and the flight crew should consider performing a go-around. Below 200 feet, if the calculated dry landing distance is greater than the landing distance available, there is a runway too short red message on both PFD and a repetitive runway too short alert. The flight crew must perform a go-around. Below 400 feet, if the calculated wet landing distance is greater than the landing distance available, the message if wet, runway too short is displayed on both PFDs. The flight crew must perform a go-around when the runway condition is either not dry or contaminated. When on the ground, the ROP function calculates the braking distance for current aircraft and runway conditions. If the current braking performance is not enough to stop on the landing distance available, it activates visual and audible alerts. As soon as an overflow situation is detected, max braking and max reverse messages are displayed on both PFDs. At the same time, the audible alert max braking is activated. The ROP function does not consider the layout of the airport, for example, a taxiway at the far end of the runway. Therefore, the flight crew should anticipate a deceleration below the inhibition speed of 30 knots when the aircraft approaches the end of the runway, as there is a risk of ROPS alert. In this graph it is possible to observe that 30 knots must be obtained before 100 meters from the end of the runway. Please note that this system does not prevent against runway end overrun in contaminated runways. You should also be aware that ROPS does not consider any impact on the deceleration ability of the aircraft due to some failures. If there is a NOTAM that shortens the ends of the runway, ROPS does not know that the end of the runway has been shortened and is still protecting against runway end before the NOTAM. In this slide, you can see a summary of the warning messages issued by ROW in the air and by ROP once on the ground. Finally, if the runway overflow prevention system is integrated into the EFB and the factored landing distance is above the runway length, a special message is displayed.